The New Age was set up by these dark Luciferians. And I'll say this again, I'm all for being positive, but positivity that is based in truth. It's the same thing with praying. I mean, I've spoken about praying before. I mean, for how many centuries have human beings been praying for peace? Where is it? You know, at what point do you think, do you know what, this is not working? This whole praying lark. And I broke down the etymology of the word praying, pray or pray for, you know, a lion hunts its prey. You're giving your energy away. So the New Age movement, spiritual movement, is based on false positivity. It's also based on saviour programs. We see this so much of this I speak about. It's constantly promoting that someone or something is going to come and save us, whether that be Pleiadians, the Galactic Federation of Light, Archangel Michael, Donald Trump, some other politician that is being heavily promoted. There's always that underlying base teaching that don't worry, because someone else can come and save you. Someone else is going to sort out the issues of the world. And I've said it time and time again, nobody is coming to save us. We have to be our own saviours. And we can be our own saviours, 100%. We've just forgotten how powerful we can be. So, and again, I'm not saying that, see, I don't want to get it confused, right? Because sometimes we all need a quote unquote helping hand. You know, I've said this before, if my electrics break down, I'm going to call in an electrician. I don't know what I'm doing. So I'm not saying that we can't seek help, but what's happening is we're gravitating towards these saviour programs because we don't want to take the responsibility ourselves, or it's just a nice thought to think that someone or something is going to come and sort out all the mess in our own lives and on a collective level. So there's a big difference. There's a big difference of calling in a mechanic if your car breaks down to putting your hope in the Galactic Federation are going to land any minute and going to bring in world peace. That's a huge difference. So saviour programs is very prominent in this fake spiritual scene. Another one I've written down here is not honouring emotions. One of the ones I talk about quite often is the whole idea that one should never get angry, which is a complete deception. And again, if you look at how that would benefit a controlling force, it's obvious it's a psyop, because the emotion of anger quite often drives us into action. When you get angry about something, the natural response after that is to try and do something about it. And that is why we have our emotions, because our emotions are indicators in life. The feeling of guilt, for example, if you feel guilt, maybe you need to make an apology. And the New Age just doesn't want you to kind of feel anything. All it wants you to do is feel love and light, feel this fake positivity. Righteous anger is such an important emotion. And I'm not saying that we should dwell in anger, not saying that at all. That can be very detrimental, both on a cellular level for our health. It's not healthy to be in anger all the time. But the initial righteous anger, that initial emotion, like this is wrong what's going on, that can drive us into great action and great change. So the New Age spiritual movement, it doesn't really want you to feel anything. It doesn't want you to be in tune with your indicators in life. And the same with just talking on going off on a tangent slightly, the whole idea that, you know, you should just forgive someone that may have abused you, or no, sometimes you need an apology before you forgive. You don't just, there's no healing there's no healing in just forgiving for the sake of forgiving. And actually it's very dangerous and very detrimental, and actually that will express itself in other emotions. Maybe it will come out as anger because it's still there, or maybe it will come out in physical illness because somewhere within you there is an inner child that maybe isn't ready to forgive that person. You don't just bypass that. So yeah, not honouring emotions is a big one. Another one I've written down is making up the truth as they go on, as people go along in this spiritual scene. Truth isn't subjective, guys. Truth is objective. The sky is always going to be blue no matter how much I want it to be red, or however much you want it to be red. So there is an objective truth in everything in life. Perception is different, opinions, that is different, but there is always an objective truth. And what you hear so much in the New Age is they will come out and say, well, that's your truth, it's not my truth. And that is a huge deception, because again, if you look at how that teaching would benefit a controlling force, if you can get people to believe their own truths and not an objective truth, then people are going to be confused. Deceivers, putting our belief into deceptive beings and beings that are masquerading. I talk about this so much in my channel. My last video on Archangel Michael, it really just underlines the point that I was making earlier about how they want you to connect with these beings that are going to quote unquote save you or help you. And in actual fact, they're master deceivers. They're just masquerading of the light. They're not of the real light. But instead of speaking their truth, calling things out, saying things that need to be said, trying to help others see what's going on, facing the dark night of the soul, facing the shadow, instead of doing any of that, they just want to sit there, legs crossed, and repeating mantras or having gong baths or doing whatever. But being in that idea that we need to feel good all the time, otherwise our vibrations drop, that's a deception. It's too much focus on the spiritual side of our being. Yes, you're a spiritual being having a human experience, but you're having a human experience, you're having a human physical experience. And in many ways, the physical aspect of our being is even more important than our spiritual aspect of our being, because we are here right now, incarnate in physical, and there are real life physical problems that we need to address, both in our own lives and as a collective. But the New Age movement, you're out there all the time. You're out there on the clouds with the unicorns. You're not in your body, you're not grounded properly. So again, I'm not saying not to connect with that side of things, not at all, but I'm saying there needs to be a balance, a healthy balance, and there's not. It's all about being out there. Demonization of the ego is a big one, where they've basically said the ego is bad, nobody should have an ego, and you should destroy it. Well, this is another huge deception, because you need a healthy ego to exist in this reality, especially right now. You need a strong, healthy ego. Being stuck in ego, yeah, that's not good. That's too much. But you actually meet these people in this New Age spiritual scene, and you can tell they've tried to destroy their personality. A lot of them, they're all like the same. You meet these people and it's like the lights are on but no one's home, and they're all like, you know, this demonization of the mind, which the likes of Muji and Eckhart Tolle are promoting, because they don't want you to think. Because if you start thinking and you think, hang on a minute, why are my rights and freedoms taken away? If you can think, oh, I'm in my mind, that's wrong, then they've got you. Of course they don't want you in your mind. If you're in your mind, you might work out that you're a slave. So this whole idea of destroying the mind, destroying the ego, it's another massive deception. And ultimately, I've just put down here, the whole thing is anti-sovereignty. And that word gets bandied around, especially by people like Magenta Pixie and a lot of the other big time YouTubers. But there's nothing sovereign about what they teach. They say the word sovereignty because it's like a buzzword. It gets used a lot. But there's nothing sovereign about the New Age movement. And that ultimately has to be the word that underpins true spirituality. When we're defining true spirituality moving forward, sovereignty. The idea that nobody has the right to tell you what to do, how to live your life, what to put in your body. No man or woman can give you your rights or freedoms. You were born with them. And the only law that you have to adhere to is natural law, which is do no harm, cause no loss. And the New Age movement is anti-sovereignty. So on the flip side, what do we need from this new definition of spirituality? Well, really, it's those points in reverse. So courage, we need courage. As I say, we need to face the darkness. We need to face what's really going on, no matter how it feels to us. We've got to face it. True courage. And the universe rewards courage. I've seen it in my own life. You know, it will look after you if you speak your truth, if you express who you truly are. You'll be supported by unseen forces, if you like. The universe, God, whatever you want to refer to it. The real God, not the false God that you pray to. Pray? On the phone? So yeah, courage has got to be up there. And they go on, objective truths. The sky is always going to be blue, no matter if you want it to be red. We have to make sure that true spirituality is based in objective truths and not what we want to believe or what we want to be true. There is an objective truth to everything. I put down here self-responsibility, self-ownership. That ties in with escapism and looking for saviours, because what that means is that person doesn't want to take responsibility for their lives or for what's going on in the collective. They don't want to play their part in sorting that out, when we all need to play our part. Discernment, guys. Discernment is a huge one. I left that off the other list, but of course, lack of discernment is very prominent in the New Age. In fact, there is no discernment. People just going with what feels good, as I say. But discernment is very key. We've been deceived so many times, over and over and over and over again. God knows how many times over the centuries. Politicians coming in, promising the earth, going back on their word. You're seeing it now with the lockdowns. Oh, you're going to come out of lockdown, and then what happens? They come up with some other BS excuse to lock people down. I mean, when are we going to learn that these people, they're all masquerading? They're masquerading. They don't care about us. Same goes for the fourth dimension. These beings that are masquerading, people are just gravitating towards them because they've had a lot of trauma in their life. I get it, and it makes them feel good, and they want to think that someone's going to say. There's no discernment there. You have to discern better. Truth is a frequency. It's something you can feel. And the more you tune in, the more you discern, the more it will become easily recognizable. And you'll get to the point where someone will open their mouth, you'll just think, right, that's BS, right, that's truth. Because it's a frequency. You can connect in with it. The New Age scene is anti-spiritual. Let me tell you, there is nothing that is going to move us forward as a society in that.